All right, Gemini. I haven't gotten to see this one yet, so do not drink poison. Do not do things you know are bad for you, and then TikTok. Now, TikTok is talking about how you have all the time in the world to create the life that you desire, so you need to let go of needing to control every moment and shaping it to your expectations. That is what TikTok is about. It's not about it's time now to make change or anything like that. You have all the time in the world to create what you want, but you may be wasting time on doing things that you know are not good for you. So do not drink poison is talking about getting rid of toxic people, relationships, doing bad things, poisoning yourself by harboring bad beliefs, bad thoughts, all of those negative things that just bring shit right back to you. It's saying basically you need to get rid of the devil in your life. And you have all the time in the world to create what you want. Time is not running out on you, but you have to stop doing things that are not benefiting you. Stop it, Gemini. Don't do that. Right? No more bad thoughts, no more bad habits, none of that stuff. Now, as far as the dark mirror, this one was interesting to me, and I haven't gotten to see this one either. Queen of my world. The moon phase here is full, and the stage is bargain, which I would have thought that the stage here would have been like either acceptance or anger, but this is after anger has been exhausted. So this is basically the Queen of Swords. It says, I set limits to my world. Inside I am queen and outside is lost. So when you think about the Queen of Swords, she has been through a lot. She's very smart, yes, but her experience comes from being in bad situations and all of the pain that she's been through. This is the equivalent to that, but to the point where nothing else exists. You cannot enter my world. You cannot be a part of my life. Nothing else matters anymore. Your anger has been exhausted and you have pushed everything out and everything away. And, you know, that can help make you feel better in the moment, but in the long run, you're going to be alone. You know, and you don't want to do that to yourself, but you don't need to keep people that make you feel this way and push you to this point. You know, again, with don't drink poison, right? All right, Gemini, here's your overall. The Two of Wands. Okay, so needing to make a choice on a course of action here. But it is about acting with passion, right? You hold your own world in your hands. What the hell are you going to do with it? You know? But you're still needing to make a choice on whether or not it's the right course of action for you. Okay, so in the past, the Nine of Pentacles, which is great, right? Being independent, being financially secure. But yeah, I kind of get the feeling of the gilded cage. I have everything I need and could ever want right here. Why should I let anything else in? You know, but other than that, the Nine of Pentacles to me is almost like the vacation card. And then, you know, the 10 would be the retirement for me. And it may be that some of you are needing to look at, okay, well, what am I going to do next, right? But I don't know. I have this feeling with this that you're fine where you're at. Okay. But that changes. So in the present moment, and that may be the problem. So with the Queen of Cups being in the present moment, I look at that as, you know, you becoming more emotional. And this could be because of a person, male, female, water sign, doesn't matter to me, but I feel like what you're internalizing here is, okay, well, I could stay on my own or I can give into what I'm feeling. You know, because the Queen of Cups becomes emotionally invested in things and emotionally attached. So it makes me wonder if you're not opening up to some feelings here and you're needing to decide whether or not you want to follow through with that, or do you just stay where you're at? Is it the right course of action? It makes me wonder. Future conditions, the King of Wands. The man of passion. He would be the one to get you out of wanting to be on your own, right? Who else would it be? The King of Wands in future conditions, yeah. I think that this is going to have to be, or this is going to have to do with a person that there is an attraction to, and there's at least some kind of emotional connection to. Now, as far as what is being projected outward, if we're looking at the King of Wands as you, it's going to be using wisdom when it comes to the course of action that you're going to take involving another person. Okay, now this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but I kind of feel that way a little bit. Your best path to follow the world. You are going to have to take steps to complete something out in a good way for yourself, I think, before you can consider, how you're going to continue to create your world, right? So the world is going to be about the successful completion and taking the steps to get there, and doing what's necessary to feel like you have accomplished something big in your life. It's the ending of a major chapter, but it's always good. It's always good with the world. Every time I see it, what you guys don't see behind the camera is me going like this, the world, right? But it looks good, right? In your world, what is going on in your world? What is it that, there needs to be this good closure on? But you come into this with independence, or being focused on independence. But I think that there is something else that, is tying you in emotionally, or someone, I should say, but not in a bad way. But then again, I go back and I worry about don't drink poison. Well, yeah, the King of Wands, you could look at it that way, Okay, all right. In your environment, justice. I have to wonder if for some of you, and this is only going to be for a few of you, again, it's a general message, but for those of you who are either married or in a committed relationship, I think that the right thing to do here is to make sure that things are done in a good way before you consider the course of action somewhere else. So the Nine of Pentacles could be showing that, yeah, you have the financial backing to be independent, but are you? Or are you still trying to work on that right now? And maybe the right course of action here is to make sure that this is where you're at before you get emotionally invested somewhere else. Because things need to be completed. You need to have, good closure on something here. But with justice, yeah, absolutely. It could have to do with separation, divorce, things like that. But it's about doing what's right, And I don't necessarily feel like it's about somebody who needs to make amends here. I just think that you're weighing out, what is the right thing to do? How do we get the scales balanced? But that's based on a decision that you're about to make to act towards something. Oh boy. Your hopes and your fears, the Hierophant, commitment. Now, let me just go back here and go to, for those of you who are single already coming into this, right? Because like I said, the Gilded Cage does play into this for me. For those of you who are coming into this single, I think that you're considering what action you're going to take and whether or not it's the right thing for you to do to continue to have balance. But then with the world, it could be that, there needs to be at least some kind of closure in a good way for you over the fact that you have been alone, especially for those of you who have been separated from somebody and then maybe you're dealing with them again in future conditions, which can be the case. The Hierophant, though, being hopes and fears, you're talking about traditional. And I, besides commitment and committing yourself to something, I look at that and the hope is I want something traditional. I want the traditional values. I want that kind of stability. I want to do things the right way. The right way. Wow, Gemini. And I look back at don't drink poison. I think you have all the time in the world. You don't have to do something that is going to jeopardize a really good closure and completion for you, before you take action. Okay, it's trying to figure it out. It's trying to work it out. But I think that a lot of you are trying to make the right choice. What is the right thing to do here? But you need to make sure that, you're okay on your own, absolutely coming into this before you choose to act on anything. And for some of you, it's not that you're going to be losing any kind of freedom or independence. But I think that that is the issue. Is freedom from something, from, something that it definitely needs to come to an end, right? But in a good way, the right way. We need to do this the right way. So The Seven of Cups. Looking at that in terms of the past, and this I think is going to be very specific for those of you who are ending, one situation and then working on something else. But I do think that it is going to have to do with a person, and it makes me question this, because is it the right course of action? Why would you be considering that if it wasn't something that was, big? But the Seven of Cups, anyway, I'm going through all this stuff in my head, and I'm getting a couple of different things here, and it doesn't surprise me with Gemini. I love you guys, though. So, for some of you, what I feel like is you need to decide what the right course of action is for you and what is going to be fair, but you need to close out one situation before you move to the next. But unfortunately, either somebody isn't able to do what's necessary to make that happen, or you can't right now. And that could be in terms of, changing work, changing your commitments, things like that. But if we're talking about a relationship, let me go back to that. The Seven of Cups would be about, what you have been hoping and fantasizing about, right? It's wishful thinking, but then not really acting on anything. But it's also about having an emotional attachment to a specific outcome. You can see how good something can be, but it's not actually being materialized. And I think that for some of you, it's because, you're okay on your own, or it's because you need to gain independence first. Now, the Six of Wands is really good. This is really good. So something that was only, in your mind in terms of fantasy starts to become reality when you have this personal victory here. And doing things the right way in order to get closure before you take action on something else. This is a good outcome, especially for those of you who are dealing with court cases, divorces, separation, anything like that. Anything having to do with the legal system, things are good. But there's an emotional investment into what happens, looking at the Queen of Cups. So then after that, you have the Three of Pentacles. Well, if the situation is still stuck, you still have a good outcome. There's still a favorable outcome here. There's a little bit of victory in terms of what you're wanting here, or what you've been fantasizing about, what option you've wanted to take. The problem is the Eight of Swords. I can't look at that in the reverse here, because there's a reason why it's coming out in future conditions. Somebody else is not able to do what is necessary to break themselves free and look at the possibility of making the situation work with the Three of Pentacles. Now, again, for some of you, absolutely can have to do with work, but in terms of being in a relationship or moving from one to the next and doing the right thing here, it's the both of you needing to work together to get past the blocks that make you think that this will never work. Now, for some of you, you may end up coming out on this because of another person. You may think that there's no way that this situation can work. At some point here, it may have been just a fantasy, but now it's becoming a possibility here. There's at least some recognition towards that with the Six of Wands and having at least some victory here, but nothing is working though. And it makes me wonder with the Two of Wands, if you're not looking at this person going, I don't know, maybe it's not the right course of action. Wow, Gemini. And then again, I go back to don't drink poison. Don't do the wrong thing. But then I also think that there may be having to do with someone, Freedom, love, and purpose. What is the purpose? What is your purpose? Do you know your purpose in this situation? Right? Giving love purpose, but only through freedom. The freedom to love. Wow. Yeah. You and Taurus this week. I'm telling you. And then love makes the difference. Love can help heal past hurts and provides a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. But you have to be real with yourself about how you're feeling, right? But love, freedom of love. But somebody is trapped. And like I said, I think that for some of you, it's going to be, you're not really sure if it's the right course of action because of a person. That, or you may not even trust yourself, which definitely can be the case here. But the thing is something definitely needs to come to an end in a good way, in the right way, before any major commitments are being made, because you want something traditional. That's what I keep saying with the Hierophant. So in terms of relationship and love, I'm going to talk about the Hierophant for a minute. When I say traditional, I do not mean man and wife. What I mean is that we acknowledge that we are together. I have very strong views on that. I don't give a shit what the meat suit looks like. If you love somebody, you love somebody. It shouldn't matter. Okay? So when I say traditional, I mean that the both of you are acknowledging that you are with each other and you're having a traditional relationship like anybody else would, and everybody else recognizes that that is what that is. So that's what I mean by that with the Hierophant. But it's not happening, though, with that Eight of Swords. But is there a way to work it out?